Welcome back to Parentales. I'm Kip, that's Katie. Today we're going to talk about messes.
And the boys have had quite a few of them, so here's what we call a top 10 list of the messes they've made. Starting with some that weren't too bad, mainly live and learn on our part of what not to do.
Some of these I wasn't around for because I used to have a job. If I wasn't, I'll just stare at you. I'll stare into your soul. Or I'll eat my food.
So a lot of these are my fault.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
Except there's one in particular that is not my fault. So with number 10 being Noah and the baking ingredients. So I have these plastic containers, which you will see in the picture, of like flour, powdered sugar, white sugar. And I used to stack them up on the floor because they were just big and heavy and they didn't really go anywhere in the pantry. Until I realized that's not a good place to have them. Noah let me know of that.
Was I here for this one?
It's like it happened more than once. First time it was with flour, which wasn't such a bad cleanup. He only got into it a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'll make sure I put them somewhere else so he doesn't see.
Yeah, I remember powder being on the floor at various times.
Yeah. Then he
was
got
this like a whole container?
No, just like a little bit. He just like was playing in it like sand, you know. Then the powdered sugar, which was a little worse than the flour because it was a sticky mess, and you know the flour I could just sweep up. The powdered sugar I had to like mop, and it was. That's when I found a new place for those containers. But he was pretty cute getting into it, and he grew to love cake and still does. And I think it all started when he was little bitty, getting into the baking ingredients.
Loves him some cake. Seth loves him some cake now too.
Yeah, he's a cake eater. Ty is well on his way. Number 9. So when the two big boys were the little boys, you know, they were typical toddlers together, and every now and then they'd get really quiet, and that's when I learned that's not a good thing. And one time in particular, they had found some Sharpies, and they had drawn on each other and probably on themselves. And they were pretty proud of how they looked too. They didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And I remember I wiped off as much as I could, and then I just let them wear it off, you know. It eventually washed off after several baths, but we didn't go anywhere back then, so it didn't matter that they were covered in Sharpie for most of the day. But it was cute, but yet I was like, oh man, we gotta move the Sharpies.
Yeah, we're pretty bad parents. We don't really keep things where they should be. We don't really have a lot of spots for things to go where they should be.
But even when we
don't keep dangerous things out.
No. But even when we do have a spot, now that they're bigger and can reach everything, they're still pretty bad about not putting it away. So, but this was back when the two big boys were little and we were learning a lot. But yeah, I think we have a picture of this one too. Number 8. This happened back when it was just Kippy. So I had really no excuse for how...
Is this on the table?
Yeah. He was a climber. Still is. But I remember as soon as he could crawl, he was climbing. And it seemed like this happened shortly before or after his first birthday. He loved... it must have been after his first birthday because he loved waffles. He loved eating waffles in the morning. And one time... he got a hold, I had left the bottle of syrup on the breakfast table, and I don't know, I was probably in the next room or not too far because he was quick too. But he managed to climb up onto the table and, I mean, just squeeze the syrup out onto the table. And, you know, if it had just been nothing on the table, yeah, it's still a mess, but it was just a simple wipe up. No, I had this like centerpiece wreath thing, which I don't bother with centerpieces much anymore, but it was like all in the wreath, and it was just, I picked it up and it was just dripping from everywhere. So yeah, I remember trying to wash that wreath out to save it. I think I did, but that was a nasty mess. And that was one of the first sticky messes that I had to deal with as a new mother. Again, learning you can't turn your back for a second or leave syrup anywhere in sight. Number 7. It's ironic this landed on one of your favorite numbers because this happened when I was gone. And
I don't remember this one.
I came home one day. I can't remember where I was, but I was gone for like the day or whatever, which doesn't happen often. but I was gone for the day. I came home to find, when I first walked in, I noticed there was some blue paint, like interior paint, not like finger paint, but blue paint, right where a doormat should be. I'm like, that's odd. Was Kip trying to paint the floor and just decided not to? Strange.
How long ago was this one?
Just a few years ago. Because the boys were big enough for them to clean up. You made them clean up. So somehow someone knocked over a can of paint that the lid wasn't on very good. The paint was in the mudroom. And the lid must not have been on very tight, or they popped it open, who knows. And then the paint spilled in the mudroom floor. Well, you must have told them to clean it up. Because then I come inside and I find towels soaked in paint in the laundry hamper area, which it's more of like a cabinet. I'll have to show you that picture. There's paint, the same blue paint, smeared on the back of the cabinet where the laundry goes. And there's towels soaked.
They cleaned it with towels?
Yes, they cleaned it with towels. They soaked towels with paint. Paint-soaked towels in the laundry, sitting on the laundry. Other clothes are in there. Because I'm pretty sure someone told them to go clean up their mess.
I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember the towels, though.
But yeah. So yeah, number 7 was the paint when I was out of the house. And then I'm like wiping paint up out of the laundry, trying to get the paint-soaked towels off any other laundry.
I guess I was around for most of these, then.
Some of them, yeah. That one you weren't. We'll get to that one.
Yeah. Number 6.
Number 6.
Noah, mud.
This happened more than once because Noah loves to play in the mud. The picture you're seeing was probably the first time he really got into the mud. But what I'm thinking of when I think about Noah and mud in his hair was just not 2 summers ago. We drained our pond because you're going to build a dock or something out there. So we drained the pond and it created this giant mud puddle. And Noah, it's like Noah heaven, big thing of mud. So he would go out there from time to time, and usually his shoes would get caked. We'd hose his shoes off, no big deal. Well, one day, and I'm like super pregnant with Ty, and I can't just like run out there to him. I see him out there playing in the mud, and all of a sudden I realize he's picking it up and just coating his hair with it. So he's got this gorgeous blonde golden hair, and it is now black as tar. And just, I mean, half an inch thick, I would say, caked on his head, in his hair. And I don't even see how he can hold his head up. It's got to be heavy. Then he comes running up, and your grandma was around. Grandma Bonnie was sitting beside me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at Noah. And we realized what he was doing. He was putting all this mud in his hair. He comes running up, and then we're like, how do we clean you off? Like, you're not going in the house for one. But now I have to hose your head down, and it's going to get all in your eyes.
It's probably good for your hair, though.
Probably. I don't know.
Exfoliant.
We should have done it on our face, too, while we were out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, me and Grandma Bonnie, like, tell him to hold his head over, you know, like this, and we're trying to hose it so it doesn't get in his eyes, and it was thick and nasty, and that mud's not just like, it's like really goopy mud, like pond scummy mud.
Yeah, I remember playing in mud as a kid, but I don't remember ever, like, hey. Or any of that. I made mud pies and stuff.
Yeah, I was like a mud pie
tried to
maker.
make mud mountains.
Mud mountains.
Mud hills. Just stack it all up.
I made mud pies.
Yeah.
There were little black widow spiders crawling all around too. I didn't realize they were poisonous back then. Anyway. So yeah, that was Noah and the mud hair.